guys, it's your girl Marcia. I'm back at it again with another video. And today I'm gonna be educating y'all, dropping some knowledge on the book Thief. And let me tell you, this book is juicy, Alright, so this is a high production video, we got the script and everything, this is like big bucks, baby. Like,
Marvel got nothing on me. Avengers got nothing on me. You know what I'm saying? Baby, like Disney ain't got nothing on me. You know what I'm saying? Let me just tea a little bit.
But today I'm gonna be talking about the book Thief. As I already mentioned, I'm in 8th grade. I go to GLCPS. I was gonna say I gotta rent my place, but like I got no uniform around me. And if you can see my room, please don't judge it. It is so messy right now. It's giving me OCD, but I have to film this video because like I look cute today. And it's very rare. So like, you know what I'm saying? Alright, y'all, so let's get straight to business. The book Thief. This is why we're here, aren't we? Unless y'all want to see my beautiful fucking... I am just kidding. That is the biggest joke I haven't heard in a while. So, this book, I have mixed feelings about this book. I'm walking on the fence on this book, as some might say. So I did like this book. Like, don't get me wrong, I did like this book. I didn't think it was a waste of my time. Like, I enjoyed reading it, but I didn't like it enough so that I would read it again. There's some books that I love so much that I just want to reread it. It never gets old, but like this book, like after reading it a second time, it would get pretty old. There's like a lot of details in this book that I feel like are so unnecessary. Like, this book would be so much better without that. But I'll get into that a little later. When I first started reading this book, like, I did not understand it at all. Like, the narrator was confusing me, bruh. And like, I'm pretty sure it's like some type of Grim Reaper or like Angel of Death that's narrating this book, but like I didn't understand what he was saying, and it took me a minute to get to understand what he was saying. And like so I really didn't like the book at the beginning. Like, if it weren't for my teacher, Miss Parker, shout out to Miss Parker, but if it weren't for Miss Parker, I probably wouldn't even finish the book. I would have just put it down, because I'm the type of person to understand what's going on in the book the minute I pick it up. And if I don't understand what's going on, I'm gonna put that book down and forget about it. But I'm kind of happy that I did read the book, only because as I read along, I did start to understand what was going on. And there were also a lot of German words in this book, so I had to, not a lot, but like there are a few words in this book that are German. And once I got towards the end of the book, like, I already knew what the German words were. I don't know how to say it, and I'm also not gonna say it because a couple of them are swears. But yeah, I had to Google translate a couple of them in the beginning because I didn't know what it was saying. Like, it didn't stick to my head. And that became a kind of annoying, only because like I'm trying to read and then I have to pull out my phone and then I have to Google it, and then I'm like, oh, Isabella texted me, or like, oh, McKenna texted me, and I'm gonna text them, and then like, yeah, I just get, oh, look at who just posted this on YouTube. Like, I get distracted, the phone's very distracting. So that was kind of annoying. Okay. So my favorite part of the book was when new characters got introduced. After reading the same thing about the same people, chapters and chapters and chapters, it gets so boring, Like, for example, Keeping Up with the Kardashians. I know this has nothing to do with this book, but like, you watch that show because there's so many different people involved. There's always new babies popping up, or like old enemies or whatever, and you're like, oh my god, like, there's so many different things, so many big twists and turns, and you get so interested and you watch the show. This book, on the other hand, there are a lot of times where they just keep going on and on about the same people, and there's so many unnecessary details that I feel like would be so much better without the book. But in that case, like, but when new characters get introduced, it's like, okay, I see what this book is trying to like pull my attention, and it does grab my attention. Like, for example, when another main character, Max Vandenberg, gets in, please don't quote me on his last name because I do not know how to say it. It is a German last name or Jewish last name, but when he gets introduced into the book, I'm like, oh, okay, like this is starting to get interesting. And when like in the beginning, when Rosa Huberman and Hans Huberman get introduced into the book, I'm like, okay, this is going, like, I'm starting to get more interested in the book. The book is trying to pull me in more, and that's what I like about the book, when there's like different things that like when something changes, or like there's a twist and turn, you know, like it's not the same thing over and over again, you know. So as I had mentioned, a couple of characters, so I had already mentioned a couple of characters in this book, including Hans Huberman and Rosa Huberman. They are married, and Max Vandenberg, a 20-year-old Jewish man that they take in. But I didn't mention the main character of the book, which is also the book thief, Liesel Meminger. Please don't quote me on her last name either, because I don't know how to say it. But Liesel is literally the main character in this book. The book is based off of Liesel's life. And they also, Rosa and Hans Huberman also take in Liesel in, but they take her in earlier on in the book, if that makes any sense. They are her foster parents, or what she calls them, Mama and Papa. They do take care of her, they take her in, and some people might think, oh, foster parents, like they're so bad. They were actually really nice to her, especially Papa. Liesel kind of favored Papa. They had a nicer relationship, and Rosa Huberman was kind of like if Hans was a good cop, Rosa Huberman was a bad cop, if you know what I mean. Like, she was a little bit more strict, but in the end of the day, it all ended up working out. They were a happy family, if I could say, as happy as a family could get that in Nazi Germany at that time. But and a big part about this book is that Hans, the man of the house, is not a Nazi. He did not join the Nazi party, and he's called a Jewish lover, which back in that time is a bad thing. And so yeah, that's about as happy as a non-Nazi German family could get, you know. He doesn't get too many jobs after that, and they're not the richest family. They live in a little lower part of Mulching. I think that's how you say it. Please don't quote me on that. But they're pretty happy. They the book is about how Liesel lives her life throughout Nazi Germany, how she does steal a couple of books, which is kind of funny because at first she did not know how to read, but now she's so interested in reading, she started to steal other people's books. But yeah. So a lot of people, other people might like this book because there's a lot of details that build up to the biggest moments. Like, it doesn't give you the big moment right away. It gives you details and details and details, and you have to assume what's gonna happen, but you don't know just yet. And then when it finally tells you, you're like, oh my gosh, this all makes sense. For example, when Max Vandenberg was going to live in with the Hubermans, when she was hiding with them, he was going to hide with them, there were a lot of details that built up, and I was like, what's going on? Like, is he moving in with them? Is he going to escape? Is he going to hide? What's going on? And I kept assuming all these things, and then when I finally got the answer, you're like, oh, that makes sense, you know? But a lot of people might not like this book because of the exact opposite reason. Sometimes, I sound so bipolar right now and crazy, but like sometimes the book doesn't give details. It just drops like a big bomb, like a mental bomb, and after it says it, you're just like, it doesn't say anything else. It just goes blah blah blah, drops a bomb, blah blah blah, and you're like, what? If you're gonna drop, the bomb is so big, you don't believe it's going to happen, and it doesn't give you any details after that. If that makes any sense, I'm really not good at explaining anything, but it's just crazy because it gives so much detail, but at the same time it doesn't. And I know I sound crazy, but I am crazy. So I also really like how this book is narrated. As I mentioned before, the book is narrated by some sort of angel of death / Grim Reaper. It doesn't really specifically say what it is, but it's so interesting how it takes its take on life and death. Even though it's an angel of death, it has such an interesting take on life, and it really intrigues me. I know I sound crazy right now, so I'm using all these big words trying to act smart, but it really does intrigue me how the angel of death is so interested in life and colors, you know. You would think the angel of death is all dark, and it intrigues me how he narrates the story because it's really different. I've never read a book narrated like this book, you know. It's most of the books I've read is either narrated by one of the main characters or like a side character or by two people of like main characters of the book, or just narrated like out of a narrator that's not really in the book, you know what I mean? But this one is narrated by someone who's in the book, but it's not, you know? He's part of the story, but the main characters don't know he's part of the story, and it's kind of interesting, like, seeing it from that point of view. In conclusion, I actually think you should read this book. It was a good book. I wouldn't recommend to read it twice, you know, because it's kind of a long book, a lot of details, but after you read it, you're just like, okay, that was a good book. Moving on to the next. It's a mediocre book. You know what I mean? I'm not going to read it again. I feel like that would be a waste of my time. But I did not hate reading it. Like, it was a okay book. Yeah. So, thanks for watching, y'all. You know, I just dropped some knowledge on you, like, just some knowledge. I hope you enjoyed, you know. I hope you enjoyed. You know, like, comment, subscribe, show your girl some love. And I'll be back with no more videos. Peace. All right. Mommy made me mash my M&Ms. Okay. And action. Juicy.